Welcome to the C-Suite Mentor, the place where you will learn the tools, strategies, and mindset to scale your business sustainably and build a lasting legacy. I'm your host, Theresa. As a fellow CEO, I understand what it takes to scale a business to 7 and multiple 8 figures. It's not necessarily what you might think. It requires a complete shift in how you think, strategize, and execute key actions in your business. My mission is to help CEOs step back into the driver's seat of their business by optimizing their operations, empowering their team, and staying in total alignment with their big vision. So, are you ready to exchange everything that hasn't worked for strategies that will? You're in the right place, so let's go. Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of the C-Suite Mentor podcast. We are going to go down a different road, a little bit of a different road with this week's podcast. And I wanted to talk about different types of business owners and what it really takes to go from being a business owner to being a CEO. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of the backstory for wanting to do this episode. I have notes written, but I got to tell you, I'm probably going to end up ad-libbing some of this. So we're just going to keep it real today for this episode. I've been wanting to record this episode for some time. I actually had a conversation a while ago with my best friend who passed away with her husband. We were talking about my business and we were talking about some things that were going on and some challenges and obstacles and struggles. And this topic came up and I wanted to just talk about it today on the podcast and give some insight to it. Because a lot of people think that being a CEO, that every CEO is the same personality type, disc profile, Myers-Briggs, you name archetypes. I don't know. There's so much stuff out there that every single CEO is the same. And the truth is they're not. And I'm gonna talk about that. We're all individuals. We all have unique skill sets. We all have unique capabilities. And what it takes, or when we start our business and we're a business owner, we start off one way and then we shift into that next level, which is when we learn how to fully embody being a CEO. And the difference between being a business owner and being a CEO is a business owner owns a business. A business owner runs a business, takes their dream, and creates something with it. A CEO architects the future. A CEO architects the next steps for the business. A CEO really goes all in on their business and can take it to the next level. It is a way of being. It's a way of being. It's embodying what it really means to lead in this new era. But as I said, a CEO, it's not like this, blanketed thing where every CEO is the same. Every CEO has the same strengths. Every CEO has the same capabilities. There are differences, and I'm going to get into that. But the background for this and why I wanted to talk about this is I was in a mastermind last year. And it was a great mastermind. And one of the things to really step into being a CEO is surrounding yourself with people who push you to think bigger, to really step outside your comfort zone, and to really push you to grow. Okay. And I was in this mastermind and with some really amazing people. And there was one individual in there that was quite an obstacle and a challenge. And I have to just say this, this quote from Gandhi that I had heard a little while ago really resonated as I was writing out my notes for this podcast, which is, I will not let you walk through my mind with dirty feet. So if you just think about it and let it resonate, I will not let you walk through my mind with your dirty feet. Meaning that walk through your mind, give you criticism and critique, and just negative, have that negativity walking through your mind. We need to rid ourselves of that and let it go. And the reason why I brought that up is because this person who was very challenging and very much of an obstacle, and for whatever reason made a comment the other day, because we're still kind of in this group chat, and they made a comment the other day that a big mistake that they see business owners making is that they take business advice from a CFO or a COO. And how could you take business advice from a CFO and a COO when they aren't visionaries and they've never grown a business? Now you can see where that quote comes in. And the truth is that, number one, I know plenty of CFOs and COOs who have grown many businesses. And in my experience, and I've been working with entrepreneurs for 25 years. I've been helping people build businesses for the past 10. And I've got to tell you, the number of COOs that I've come in contact with of small businesses who really are functioning in more of a CEO role, because whether they're being mentored to end up taking over the company, okay, or that's just kind of the way that things are laid out because of what I'm going to share with you, or they just have that affinity. So CFOs and COOs are essential. They are not people to be, they're not less than a CEO. They're not, they shouldn't be excluded. They shouldn't be, you know, they are just as big, they play just as big of a role in helping people to scale and grow their business as the actual visionary themselves. And you've heard me talk about this many, many times, that a COO with the vision needs to have complementary people on their team. All right. And you can't surround yourself with a bunch of visionaries and people who can't manage a project, people who can't actually do the work. Okay. So it takes different types of people that come together and that need to be aligned with one another. And this comment, when I heard it, like I said, it incited something in me. And it actually like stuck with me. And at first, when I heard it, I started to have those dirty feet running through my mind. And then I said to myself, no, that's an incorrect statement. And I don't know if a lot of people are out there that believe it, but I'm going to talk about this because I think it's important. I have been exposed to really good CEOs. I have been exposed to bad CEOs, and I've been exposed to really ugly CEOs. And I've learned a lot about different types of CEOs and their strengths and the mistakes that they make when they are building a team based on what those strengths are that they have. Okay. And here's the thing, when we first start our business and we first start building our business, we open up our doors, we open up our website, we do all the work, we wear multiple hats, we hustle, maybe we hire some team members along the way, and we're burning the candle at both ends. And then one day, we decide it's time to start architecting the future. It's time to stop operating the business and start ideating in the business. And it's time to let go of wearing those multiple hats and to surround ourselves with a leadership team, with a team that complements the strengths that we have. And as I said, that's when we step into being the CEO. But that business owner, when you first start your business, what I have found in dealing with really good, really bad, and really ugly CEOs, business owners, is that they have one of three primary strengths. There are people who can embrace all three, all right? But more often than not, the business owner that becomes a CEO has one of three strengths. The first one is they're really good at sales and marketing, and they have an affinity to sales and marketing. They typically have a very creative personality. More often than not, it's somebody who is an extrovert, although they can be introverted. They have good intuition. They have good feeling. They relate to people. So normally, those are the people that have an affinity towards sales and marketing. Then you have CEOs and business owners who have an affinity towards finance. More often than not, the people who have an affinity towards sales and marketing absolutely hate profit and loss statements. They don't want to hear about numbers. They don't want to talk about taxes. All right. The people who have that strength in the finance, when you start talking about processes and operating procedures and SOPs, they can't sit down and focus on that. And then you also have people who are really strong in operations. And those people, the ones that are the strongest in operations, understanding how things work, understanding, wanting to put some structure in place so that the team can come together. Okay. Those are normally, in my experience, the people who have strength in operations can actually have strength in the finance area and actually have strength in the sales and marketing area. Okay. And those people that have that strength in operations many times over have been project managers, have been fractional COOs or COOs, or have been director of operations. Okay. So making the statement that someone who is a COO or someone who is a CFO, there's just such a false, it's just, and not that you shouldn't listen to them, because number one, if that is their primary role, they have a lot of input to give you about growing your business as the CEO. And stating that they're not visionaries. They're not driving the boat on your business. They are giving you input for things that you may not see yourself as a CEO, and they see it in a different way. A true CEO, if we go back to what I said, that they are architecting the future. They know how to surround themselves with good people who have complementary skills, who can collaborate with them, who can take a project and run with it if that is not the CEO's strength. But the CEO always has the vision. And if the CEO is fully embodying the role of a CEO, they can communicate that vision to the people who are helping them to run the business, helping them to guide the ship. And as I said, if you have, I am a fractional COO for a gentleman who has 5 businesses, potentially going to be 6. And I actually function in a CEO role as well in some of those businesses. It's just the way that he developed the role because of the transition that he's potentially going to be making. So you can have someone who is a CEO who is heavy in finance. And I've seen this. I've seen this many times over. Someone who owns a business, who either worked in finance or just has an affinity towards financial information and numbers, budgets and forecasts and all that stuff, and has an affinity to that, but they're not really good at having that big giant vision. And they need some help with that. So when they go to hire their COO, their second in command, or they go to hire a leadership team, you want to make sure that you have visionaries. You want to make sure that you have people who are creative, who can take an idea that you might have and help to ideate it out. It is more important for a CEO. Yes, they need to have vision. Absolutely, because it's a GPS. But it's more important for a CEO, no matter how big your business is, to understand and have a connection to who they are, have a connection to their connection to self, know who they are, know what their strengths are, and what are the things that maybe are shortcomings of theirs that they need support from people who are going to be on their team in these roles. So if you are someone who is really good at sales and marketing, and I had a client like this a couple years ago, really amazing sales and marketing, amazing. He would promise the world to everybody. No foundation behind it. No foundation with processes and SOPs and how to do things. And what ended up happening was that CEO, super amazing visionary, super amazing. But he ended up, he couldn't quite get himself out of the loop of every single decision and every single thing because he didn't have those foundational pieces in place. So he needed to hire a CEO who did have vision, who could be a visionary in the parts of the business that the business owner couldn't really understand or didn't have that strength in, such as process design, such as developing procedures, such as understanding the interconnectedness of the business. He had an understanding of it, but it wasn't his strength. So he needed to find someone. They didn't necessarily have a vision for the direction of the business. That was the business owner, the CEO, but they had vision for how the operation should run. And that is the difference. You, as a CEO, again, taking advice, business advice, it's important to have these good people in your corner, a CFO or a CPA, a COO, or someone who can be your general manager or your director of operations, your second in command, okay? You need to have someone really good in those positions so that you can stay focused on the vision and the direction that you want to take the business, but they might have vision in these other areas and understand how though the vision in marketing, the vision in accounting, the vision in operations, customer fulfillment, they have the vision for all of those pieces and understand how that fits into the bigger vision of the company. So as soon as I started to, it was funny because when that comment was made, and I got really upset, and I thought I'm human, and I thought to myself, wait, that's just not right. I thought back to the conversation that I had with my best friend's husband, my friend, and I thought back to that conversation and about how not all CEOs are created equal. They aren't. We're human. We're individuals. But understanding and staying connected to self, knowing where your strengths are, and understanding how you can hire for the role that you need to fulfill to complement your strengths, to complement the role that you're in as the driver of the vision and the driver of the dream. When we hire people who are similar to us, and I've seen people make this mistake, they hire people who are all numbers people. There's no vision. And I mean really a vision for the direction of the business. But then there's also no understanding of the order that things need to be done. You can budget the crap out of the business. You can manage the cash flow like amazing. But to be able to say, okay, here's how we're going to get from point A to point B in the shortest amount of steps, they can't do that. So you have an entire leadership team or an entire team of people who all have the same strengths and no complementary strengths from other people. So understanding your role as a CEO, understanding where you have talents, where your affinity is, and using that for good, using that to drive the vision forward, to drive the business forward. And at the same time, surrounding yourself with people who can give you input into and help you to drive the bus, to drive the boat, so that the business and help you course correct when you make mistakes. I have a CFO in my business, and there are things that he sees that I don't see. And that's a good thing. And I get business advice from him as far as the direction that I need to go. Because again, I'm not always going to have all of the answers. And again, that's another mistake. And quite frankly, that I would tell this person is that your way is not the right way all the time. And that's where the dance between conviction and adaptability comes in. Being convicted in the dream that you have, the vision that you have, but being okay with being adaptable as far as how you're going to get there because of the input that you get from trusted advisors, from coaches that have helped people to get to that place that you want to go, coaches, mentors, consultants. I mean, I worked with a coach one time. This is a little bit of a sidebar, but I worked with a mentor who was a CEO of multiple businesses, and she worked her way up in the business in a corporation and became a CEO. She never owned a business. She never built a business from scratch ever. But her advice was valuable. Her advice was valuable because she had been in the role of a CEO. So again, having those trusted advisors, whether they be coaches or mentors or your CFO or your COO, that can see things that you don't see and help you avoid big, giant, huge mistakes that could be very costly. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, we don't have control over the outcome, but we have control over what we put into it. And if you have a team of visionaries, if you're an extreme visionary and you do tons of sales and marketing and you're super good at it, but you have nothing at the back end of it, you have no foundation to support what you're selling, you're going to run into problems. So as a CEO, going from business owner to CEO is the difference between owning a business and architecting your future and owning that future. And understanding that, yes, you are the CEO, you can pivot and shift and change direction, and you can make decisions in all different areas. But you also need to surround yourself with good people who have these strengths that can help to guide the direction of the business. So if you have someone that has said something to you and it has rubbed you the wrong way, I want you to remember this. Do not let them walk through your mind and take up valuable space with their dirty feet. Do not let anybody get under your skin and take up valuable space in your mind, space that is intended for a dream to grow, for a new dream to be born, and for solutions to come about that this world needs. So, if you are listening to this episode and you're saying to yourself, I am a business owner and I want to make the leap. I want to choose to make the leap to become a CEO. Or you're a CEO and you're thinking, I need a second in command. I need to build this leadership team because I don't have all the answers and I know I don't. And that's holding me back. Then I would love to have a conversation with you. Let's jump on a call and let's do a quick business audit. We'll do a quick business audit where we can take a look at what does the structure really look like in your business and what are the things where are your blind spots and how can we start to make some positive changes to start moving you in the right direction. And if that is you in either one of these scenarios, let's jump on a call. So if you go to theresacantley.com/business audit, let's jump on a call. We'll do a quick 20-minute call. We can get in, we can have a conversation about what's going on, what's the situation in your business, and then also give you some actionable steps so that you can start moving forward faster. Remember this, no CEO is built the same. No CEO thinks the same. I mean, yes, there are similarities, absolutely, but we're all individuals. And I think the bigger thing is understanding that and understanding who you are. And I think the more you understand who you are as a person, as a CEO, and why you do what you do, you're able to say, this is who I need surrounding me. Because today, putting those people into the right roles is so different than what it was a year ago, 5 years ago. But the more you know who you are, what your strengths are, you can find the right people to help you steer the ship and get to your destination. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. And again, if you want to, really work through some of these things, go to theresacantley.com/business audit and let's chat. All right. Have a great rest of your week. Hey there. I want to talk to you about something that might be a little taboo and a lot of people are uncomfortable to talk about. What is it? Money. Recession, rising interest rates, costs just seem to keep going up. All of this can make anyone and everyone feel uncertain and even scared about what's happening today, but also scared about their future. But let me ask you, what if you had a roadmap that works no matter what is happening in the world and in the economy? The fact is, with a handful of money principles, a few proven frameworks, you can be in complete control of your financial future for good. And I want to tell you about a roadmap that's so easy to follow. So let me introduce you to my mentor, Mel Abraham. Mel is known for taking seemingly complex concepts and simplifying them through visual frameworks and an easy-to-execute process. And he's got a new book coming out, and this book is no different. His powerful teaching style comes through and comes to life in visual frameworks, meaningful stories, and like I said, easy to use processes that can work for anyone. This is one of the key things that completely sets this new book apart. And I can tell you from my own experience, what he teaches is absolutely life-changing. Yes, there are plenty of money books out there that will give you theory and thoughts and general guidelines, but Mel's new book, Building Your Money Machine, is literally built from his 4-decade financial journey as an entrepreneur, advisor, and a person trying to give a good life to his son and find freedom in his financial future. And the beautiful thing about this book is that it came from the miles run by Mel himself, and it's backed by his financial background as a CPA. This is the real road that's well-traveled, and it can be well-traveled for you. So if you want to pre-order this book, it's not available until June 11th, but you can pre-order it by simply going to yourmoneymachinebook.com. And let me let you in on a little secret. When you pre-order the book, you will get access to some amazing bonuses. There are so many on there. They're mind-blowing, and they will be super, super helpful. But once the book comes out, the bonuses go away. So you want to make sure that you pre-order this book. So go to yourmoneymachinebook.com and make sure that you pre-order it today. Hey there. Thank you so much for listening. If you found value on the show, please follow the podcast so you never, ever miss an episode. And I would love, love, love if you would leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify for me. Even better, share the show with a fellow business owner ready to step fully into their CEO leadership role. Because right now, more than ever, the world really needs next level leaders. And by the way, did you know you can text me all your questions and get real-time feedback? You absolutely can. Just text the word CEO to me at 610-215-2838 to get connected. One last goodie for you before I go. If you're ready to scale your business and have a co-creator working right by your side, my C-Suite Mentor Program may be perfect for you and your possible new second in command. Just visit thecsuitementor.com to get started.